messing around, calling all you freaks and nerds. You're just missing what you want.
Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim. I'm glad you're here and we get to spend a little time together. I hope you're happy, healthy, and staying safe. On today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Nike Vomero 16.
My brother's going down the drain. My sister's living the dream. But everybody's singing along. It's okay, we'll all soon be gone.
Now the Vomero 16 features ZoomX foam, an air zoom unit up in the forefoot, and a plush upper. But before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes I'm about to review for you. So let's do that. But then when we come back together, I'm going to take a real deep dive into the Nike Vomero 16 to try to answer that question, is this the right shoe for you?
Laughed at the mall 'cause your mama forgot. I know it hurts. Bullied by the cool kids on the first day of school. I know it hurts so bad. Let it go, let it go. You'll be better off without our breaks. We don't care if you know, we will never let you go. Can't take any more, I'm under control. We won't fight all the time, we'll punch you if you're feeling fine. Yeah, it will go on as long as you want.
Now these are a neutral road shoe that I ordered true to size and they fit me really well. For a men's size 9 on my scales, they came in at exactly 10 ounces or 284 grams. Now Nike has a stated weight for the women's size 10 as 9.1 ounces or 258 grams. Now these retail for $150 US. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Run Tall family. I'm glad you're here and we get to spend this time together. Now I post running shoe reviews, comparisons, and shoe battles weekly. So if you enjoy watching running shoe reviews and other videos about running, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time that I upload new content. So let's start with the most exciting feature of these shoes, and that's the midsole. Here they feature their ZoomX midsole foam as their core, wrapped in a more durable EVA and a Zoom air unit up in the forefoot of the shoe. In the men's version, they have 29.5 millimeter stack height in the heel and 19.5 millimeters up in the forefoot. So they have a 10 millimeter offset from the heel up through to your forefoot. For the women's version, it's a little bit different. They have 28.1 millimeters in the heel and up in the forefoot, they have 18.5 millimeters. So they have actually a 9.6 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. Now, when I think of ZoomX, I think of max cushion. These are not a max cushion daily trainer. They're more moderately cushioned. They do feature ZoomX foam as their core midsole material, but that's wrapped in another EVA, and that's to give it a little bit of durability and make it last. And they also feature a Zoom air unit up in the forefoot of the shoe to give you a little bit of pop off your toe. Now I had these out on a variety of different workouts, everything from just that casual, easy pace day. I've had them out on a treadmill, and I did take them out for a little bit of speed work. So let's talk about the speed work a little bit because these are not my favorite speed day shoe, but they did an okay job. Now, for that workout, I was to run 8 1-minute speed repeats, and I was trying to keep my pace somewhere between a 5:50 to a 6-minute mile. And I was really curious to see how these might feel when I was trying to pick up that pace, right? So with that first lap, it did take me a little bit of time to kind of get a feel for just how fast I was going in these. And, you know, they feel best really on a more moderate pace, but I was able to get up to that 5:56 minute mile and keep it pretty consistently throughout the workout. And I ran 8 1-minute repeats with a 3-minute basically recovery time between each one of those 1-minute sprints, more or less. And, you know, they did okay. They did all right. You know, again, not my favorite speed day shoe, but in a pinch, you know, these can get the job done. Where they really felt best for me, however, was on that recovery time or that 3-minute period where I slowed down the pace and I was really more solidly midfoot striking the ground. I felt like there was a bit more bounce to these, or a bit more pop or help through my gait cycle. And I found that to be true when I took these out on a treadmill. I was running at probably an 8-minute mile pace, so a nice, comfortable, easygoing pace that you can maintain for a while. And they felt really smooth. And again, a lot of bounce off that midfoot where I was striking. So I wasn't really leaning into it from my ankles like you would if you were trying to run fast, but a more moderate pace, I guess. And, it felt really good to me. So let's flip these over and we'll take a look at the outsole. See how they're protecting that midsole that we just got done looking at. And here you can see that they used a high abrasion rubber, and they've got it all covered from the heel through to your toe off. And they feature this waffle pattern here. And I found that does a good job. It's a similar type of a pattern that they used on the Pegasus shoe. So here's the Pegasus. You can see it is very similar in their waffle pattern. Although with the Pegasus, they do have this cutout back here in the heel section, which they do not feature in the Vomero 16, and they don't need to because they have their ZoomX as their core, so you get lots of bounce from that midsole material. But I think this is going to do a really good job in protecting that midsole, so durability I think is going to be pretty high on these. Oftentimes you'll hear Nike refer to the Pegasus lineup of shoes as their workhorse. Well, I think this is right in that same line of a workhorse daily trainer from Nike. So let's take a closer look at the upper on these. Now here they're using a sandwich mesh material. It's breathable, but it's not the most breathable pair of shoes that I own. And that's okay. Right now it's pretty cool here in Michigan, so these feel pretty comfortable on foot. They do have lots of perforations up in the toe box. One of the things I did notice is that I do feel like I have a little bit more room up here than I do in other Nike shoes. So when I was trying to run fast, I was really kind of splaying my toes as I was moving through my gait cycle. I felt like I had plenty of room there. I didn't feel restricted at all. It felt really comfortable that way. And then across the midfoot section, now here they feature a banded system as their relation closure, and we'll take a closer look at that here in just a minute. And then we have their Nike logo as a plastic overlay there in the midfoot section, and they finish it off in a heel counter with a pretty stout heel clip, and we'll take a closer look at that as well. So let's take a closer look at that lace enclosure system. Now here they use bands. Now the way that this works is they have these basically sewed into the outside shell of the upper, and then they wrap around that material and go down between, independent of the outside shell of the upper and the gusset of the tongue. And those bands are basically sewed into the midfoot section. So as you cinch the material together, it tightens around your midfoot to give you a nice, secure, lockdown feeling. Now this system is very similar to what they feature in the latest Pegasus lineup, and I thought that they did a really good job with that as well. One of the nicest features about having this type of a system for a lace enclosure is that it holds your heel in place nice and secure into that heel pocket. And where I notice it most probably is when I'm going downhill, when I can sometimes have my foot slide forward if it's not held in place really well. I didn't have that issue with this type of a lace enclosure system. I just felt like I did a nice job locking my midfoot right in place, so I didn't get that foot sliding forward motion or feeling that I can sometimes get when I'm going downhill. So let's take a look at the tongue. It does feature a semi-gusset. It's well padded. There at the start of the tongue, it does have some perforations. And then we get up towards the top, it's really pretty puffy. So there's a lot of padding there, but I think for good reason. Now, it's rare that I have to stop and relace a pair of shoes, but about the third time that I had these out on the road, I did indeed have to do that. I was running with a runner's knot, and it's pretty easy with this type of a lace enclosure system, maybe to overdo it a little bit up there towards the top, and I certainly did. So even with as puffy a tongue as that is, as well padded as it is, I did have to relace my shoes, or at least stop and loosen them up a little bit, because I could feel the laces cutting across the top of my midfoot section of the shoe, and it was uncomfortable enough that, again, I had to stop and kind of loosen them up a bit. So I do understand why they put so much padding there, because, again, you can kind of overdo it just a little bit, as I did, when you're tying these up. So let's take a look at the padding around the heel collar and the tab of these, and here you can see that they have plenty of it. Lots of padding there, and I often call this the pillow style because it rests up there towards the top, kind of like resting your head on a pillow. And the tab of the shoe, now that padding comes down quite a ways, and so it creates a really nice, well-defined heel pocket. And with all that padding, I found it to be really comfortable on my Achilles. So these are a pair of comfortable daily trainers that you're going to be able to put a lot of miles in really comfortably. Now these also feature a removable insole, and I always appreciate that. Now these are well cushioned, so it adds a little bit of comfort to your run experience, and it's so nice to be able to just pull them out, clean them up, and put them back so that you're good to go the next time you want to run. Now the heel counter has a lot of structure here. You can see that they feature this plastic heel clip that comes up right about to the midfoot section of the shoe. That does a nice job in stabilizing your heel. Didn't have any heel slippage. As I mentioned earlier, it does have a nice well-defined heel pocket. That lace enclosure system does a nice job in keeping you locked in and secure. And then with the heel clip combined with that, you don't really have any heel slippage at all. At least I didn't anyway. And also, you know, they've got a pretty wide landing platform there, but up in the forefoot of the shoe as well as back in the heel section. And this is a little bit wider than what they featured in the latest version of the Pegasus shoe. So overall, even though I overpronate, I do feel like I'm pretty stable, and this gives me a nice stable ride when I'm out in the Vomero 16s. So overall, I enjoy running in the Vomero 16s. You know, they're similar in a lot of ways to the Pegasus lineup of shoes, only with a little added something. That ZoomX midsole foam that they have, that they use as their core, gives you a little added energy or pop or bounce as you move through your gait cycle. And I like the feeling of the Air Zoom unit more in the Vomero 16s than I do in the Pegasus 38s. Now these are well suited for those easy run days where you just want to log a lot of really comfortable miles. And I feel like when I'm solidly midfoot striking is where they're most comfortable for me to run in. But you're definitely going to be able to get a lot of durable miles, a lot of comfortable miles out of these. And I think they're worth the $150 that Nike's asking for them. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Everybody out in the world, stop messing around. Calling all you freaks and nerds, you're just missing what you want.